The morning sun filtered through the kitchen window as I sipped my coffee, glancing at my phone. A message from my boss, Mr. Thompson, popped up, reminding me of the urgent team dinner scheduled that evening. My heart sank a little. I knew it was our 5th wedding anniversary, but work had been relentless, and I couldn't say no. I promised myself I'd make it up to my husband, Samir, with a special weekend. I scribbled a quick note for him, saying I'd be late, and rushed out the door, my mind already on the client pitch we'd discuss at dinner. At the restaurant, the team was in high spirits. Mr. Thompson was charming as always, leading the conversation with ease. The clients seemed impressed, and I felt a rush of pride contributing to the discussion. Plates of pasta and glasses of sparkling water filled the table as we laughed over light banter. Hours slipped by unnoticed, and I didn't check my phone, assuming Samir would understand. After all, he knew how demanding my job could be. By the time dessert arrived, I was so caught up in the moment that our anniversary faded to the back of my mind. Back home, Samir sat quietly in the living room, a small bouquet of roses on the coffee table. He'd planned a cozy evening, our favorite dinner, soft music, and a photo album of our years together. He waited, checking his phone for any message from me, but none came. The candles he'd lit flickered low, and the food grew cold. He tried to stay calm, telling himself I was probably stuck in traffic or a late meeting. But as the clock ticked past 9, worry turned to disappointment, and he wondered why I hadn't even called. When I finally got home, it was nearly midnight. The house was silent, except for the faint hum of the refrigerator. I saw the roses and the untouched dinner plates, and my stomach dropped. Guilt washed over me as I realized what I'd done. I found Samir in our bedroom, awake but quiet, his face a mix of hurt and confusion. "I waited for you," he said softly, not accusing, just stating a fact. I apologized, stumbling over my words, explaining the work dinner and how I'd lost track of time. But the words felt hollow, even to me. The next morning, I woke up early, determined to fix things. I made Samir's favorite breakfast, pancakes with extra syrup, and sat across from him, trying to start a conversation. He was polite but distant, his usual warmth missing. I knew I'd let him down, and the weight of it pressed on my chest. Over the next few days, I tried to make amends. I left little notes for him, planned a movie night with his favorite films, and even booked a weekend getaway. But Samir's smiles were forced, and I could sense the hurt lingering beneath. At work, I started setting boundaries. I told Mr. Thompson I couldn't do last-minute dinners anymore, and to my surprise, he understood. I realized I'd been letting work creep into every corner of my life, leaving little room for what mattered most. Samir and I began talking more openly. I admitted how much I'd been neglecting us, and he shared how the anniversary had been his way of reconnecting after months of my late nights. His honesty stung, but it was what I needed to hear. Slowly, we started rebuilding. We set aside one evening a week for just us. No phones, no work talk. The first time, we cooked together, laughing as flour dusted the counter. It wasn't perfect, but it felt like us again. I learned to check my calendar religiously, making sure no work event clashed with our plans. Samir, too, made an effort, surprising me with small gestures like a coffee delivered to my office. We were finding our rhythm, step by step. Looking back, missing our anniversary was a wake-up call. It wasn't just about one forgotten night, it was about the choices I'd been making, letting work overshadow the person who mattered most. Samir and I aren't perfect, but we're trying. And every time I see those roses in a vase, now dried but still on our shelf, I'm reminded to never let a dinner with my boss, or anything else, come before the promises we made to each other.